I've often said about the BBC, as many of you chums know, that recently over here, apparently the government have decided that we can now, if you're a pensioner, you can now actually get the BBC licence fee potentially now, once again, for free, after they decided to snatch it back and move the age to something like 140 before you could claim it, the sort of thing, chums, right? And it's ridiculous, isn't it? But the BBC, as I've often pointed out, make things more and more difficult for themselves each and every single time. And this is simply because they can't stick to their own verification, their own truth. You see, recently they decided to sit down with a woman who tried to become the very first female president of the United States of America. Sadly for her, things took a turn for the worst. She sat down with Laura Koonsberg, and as you can imagine, a once revered and esteemed interviewer. But sadly, this quickly very much fell apart. And then, well, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you chums on a rainy day here in London town. Sorry, nice to see you chums on a very rainy day here in the very heart of the United Kingdom. So I'm just going to move over there because consequently I don't want to get wet through. Yes, I know you're telling me off, aren't you? Can I do it without? No, well, I'll be back in a minute. This is a luxurious setting, isn't it? Nothing like a white wall. It looks like it looks a little bit like, of course, the place that many people suggest I should be incarcerated in. I know, an institution. You don't need to laugh, of course, but we're here still trying to make the video, of course, that matters to you. We're talking about this particular lady, right? Kamala Harris. Amazingly managed to get, and this is what I find incredible, right? The book has bombed. Kamala's got this book out, right? I think it's 107 days or something like that. And I mentioned about political books before. Nobody cares. We've moved on. Doesn't really mean anything. You get the picture. Now, Kamala decided to sit down with the BBC because she's also debating about doing a UK tour where she comes to theatres and meets and greets people, and then you can ask her questions and all that sort of stuff, Now, I'm not politically minded on these sort of things. I mean, she's just now, to me, a person who had a huge profile, got lots of celebrity support in the likes of Oprah Winfrey, Beyonce, J-Lo, even Taylor Swift. What's interesting here, right, chums, is the fact that all of these people have had product out recently, including J-Lo and Taylor Swift. And I would say, as I've often said here on the show, that once you get political, then people turn off. And Taylor Swift's album has not sold as many units, as they say, as previously. J-Lo's latest film, Kiss of Spider-Woman's bombed, but Beyonce didn't sell out over here in London. You get the picture. Kamala, though, basically was allowed to speak open lies on the BBC. She said that her and President Trump, Donald Trump, well, it was a close-knit race of, it could have gone either way. The facts are very, very clear. It could have gone no way. Hence the reason Kamala didn't get the job. And that's not me taking sides. They are visual facts that you can look up. Never once did the BBC say, oh, but it looked like this. No. Just phoning and, of course, gushing, saying the book was marvellous, etc. And Kamala was allowed to, well, lie on international television. Now, as I said, the problem that you've got with this is that they have a verification unit called BBC Verify, which they're supposed to look at the stories, counteract them, and they put it out. The woman who they used to have heading this, well, that was all right until they found out that she'd lied on a CV. You would have thought they might have checked this little minor detail, but this is the BBC for you, right? So couldn't be bothered with that. So the person checking the facts didn't check their own facts. You get the picture. And now the BBC are debating whether they need to cut the video to cut these points out. The fact that it went out live and nobody decided, even though, of course, they could have stopped it, chopped it beforehand. This is the level that you're paying for. And it goes back to what I'm saying about the BBC. They're asking you for your money. They've decided, of course, not even to touch anywhere near the grooming gang scandal of the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. No mention of that yet. No. They just wait for everybody else to roll it and eventually they'll pick it up. As for the potentially very first president female of the United States of America, well, she was hoping that this was going to result in big deals and perhaps other opportunities over here in the United Kingdom. The fact is, the facts remain, it was a tissue of lies. But that really didn't stop the BBC, and seemingly one might suggest Miss Harris herself. Either way, not exactly great for book sales. If you check those out, even a few days after the interview aired, not potentially great. And that's the reason why you should always tell the truth. Am I right, chums? Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.